And good morning is 7:03 on this Thursday, February 11th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Hello, everybody. We welcome you on a Thursday morning. If you look outside, it's not the most encouraging weather, but it could be worse. And we don't have any snow that I know of right here in our area, so we count our blessings this morning. Let's get started here for Bates Ford, 1673 West Bate in Lebanon, the dealer that'll trade for anything it don't eat. We've got our usual two here this morning. Paul Tubbs is the dealer operations manager. Ronnie Kelly in sales for 34 years. Paul, good morning.
Good morning.
Ronnie, hello to you.
Good morning.
I just wanted to see if you was listening.
I'm listening.
Well, people who have nothing better to do today, I bet you'd love for them to come by and see what you've got to offer, Ronnie.
Yes, sir. We got some nice used cars they can come by and pick up today. And it's a day that's going to be that liquid sunshine. So if you're not working, sometime when it rains, construction workers, just come on in today and we'll sit down and put a good deal in. If you don't want to buy our vehicle, come on down for service and we'll take care of you. It's time to get that oil changed.
Right. Tell us more, Paul.
Oh yeah, service. We got a little bay there. We can, if somebody's interested in looking at a vehicle, we'll always accommodate them. And we got a little spot in the drive. We can pull it and open up the doors and let them look at it. And service, we're always ready. We got people waiting to do oil changes. We try to get them in and out, relatively quick. But we also want to do a quality inspection. We got a lot of vehicles going on right now. We got a selection of used vehicles that we've got that's under $10,000 that we've traded for and actually got through the shop and made sure they're roadworthy. And that 2021 F-150 is an unbelievable machine. I've had a couple of customers, a couple of local business owners. One of them bought one and just couldn't believe the shifter folds down. It sets up for a desk, and this particular customer does a lot of work out of their vehicle. So it's amazing to me. I really hadn't got into one. We put one in the showroom. We got a hot spot in the showroom. We've put two in there, and they've both sold. We had somebody looking at the third one yesterday, so I'm kind of liking that little spot in the showroom. But they're amazing. I just was astonished. The screen in the middle is bigger than a big iPad. The shifter folds down where you have a spot for your laptop. The console comes up. It's like a little office right there where if you work out of your vehicle, it's a great deal.
Yeah. What do you think about that one, Ron?
At F-150 is amazing. And like Paul said, even the tailgate, you can plug up equipment. You got two plugs, one plug on the outside, and you got two plugs inside, or you can run several things from that. You can have a campsite. And cut the lights on it, it'll continue to run.
It's got a plug in the back, like for a extension cord, where you just plug right into the back of the truck in the bed. Another thing that really amazed me, and I don't know that it's on all of them, but I know the particular ones we had in the showroom, it's got the automatic tailgate where you just push a button, tailgate closes itself. So that's pretty neat too. You don't have to no more lugging the big heavy tailgate up or any of that. You push a button, it closes it for you.
I keep wondering, what are they going to think up next? But they always come up with something.
That's amazing. Yeah. I was really astonished by, all of the features on it.
Well, you mentioned the oil change, and that's such a really a popular thing. And when you can get it for $24.95 up to 5 quarts,
right,
plus tax, of course, $24.95. I mean, that's... And you've said it several times. You're not making any money.
No, it's a courtesy we do. When we sell vehicles, we want people to come back and make sure that we service them. And, that's one of the things Ford even grades us on is our retention of, when we sell customers returning back and making sure they get their vehicle serviced to the dealers. And we want to make sure that we do a quality inspection. We check your brakes, your batteries, your hoses. Of course, on new vehicles, it's just we're trying to get people acclimated to our service department, and the used ones, we like for them to come back. That way we can look at them and make sure. And when we sell a used car, we always make sure it's top-notch quality. That way when they do come back, we can give them good grades. And if somebody brings a vehicle in that needs service, we'll always bring them out, show them if they want to look. If not, we'll give them a report and let them know what they need.
Well, one thing I like about the way you do that oil change, when you think about it, now, it may take just a little longer than going to some place where all they do is just Just flush it out, put some more in, and you're gone. But you're looking for anything that might be wrong. Well, that's going to help you if they let you repair it, but it's going to help them to know anything that might be wrong with a car, and that's very important.
Well, yeah, and I'll give you just for instance, we'll tell people, hey, your brakes are in the, you start out green. It's kind of like the red light. It's green, yellow. And I have a lot of customers that will say, hey, your brakes are in the yellow, which means that they've got it's future attention. But when we tell them that, they know to keep an eye on it. Then they'll come back the next time and the brakes, and we'll save them hundreds of dollars because they don't have to put rotors where the pads will get into the rotors, so they don't have to go buy rotors. They know that they're expecting to get brakes a few oil changes down the road. So that helps them in that sense. And then if we see anything else, hey, your tires are yellow, you might want to, before, winter or whatever, you might want to look at getting some tires. And we might tell them in August, and hey, we got a lot of people come back in October. Hey, I need to get that set of tires that y'all priced, So it works good, just making sure they're notified of what we do. And we want to make sure that we do quality inspections and give the customer their stuff.
Right. And just don't forget tires and batteries and that oil change all at Bates Ford. And, of course, Ronnie Kelly, who wants to put you in something a little bit better every time you come down there. Tell us more.
Yes, and one thing about on our used cars, a lot of times you come down, you may not see something out there, but we may have it sitting in the back getting ready to get service to get in, because a lot of times Paul have several cars sitting out there until we can get them in and get them serviced before we can put them on the line and get them cleaned up. So if you don't see something, ask the salesperson that do we have this, because we may have it. We may have it coming in. So
all right. And of course, you're going to trade for anything that don't eat. You still doing a lot of that.
Got a tractor coming today. Guy got a tractor out of Watertown. Brought it in yesterday. Some pictures. Sent them to me, the pictures, and we looked at it. And he's got a 20-foot trailer and a pretty good sized tractor, and he's wanting to get a F-150. And I said, bring her down. We'll be happy. We love that, Mr. Bates. That's his favorite thing.
Well, all of this, I mean, they do what they say, and they will trade for anything that don't eat. Bates Ford, 1673 West Main, and thank you, fellas, for being with us. Hope you have a good, safe day, and we'll see you next Thursday.
Thank you.
Paul Tubbs, he's the dealer operations manager. Ronnie Kelly in sales. Bates Ford again, 1673 West Main, the dealer. It'll trade for anything that don't eat. We're about 10 and a half after the hour, and Sergeant P.J. Hardy joins us this morning for his monthly visit to Coleman and Company. Good morning, Sergeant.
Good morning, Coleman.
How are you?
Well, a little wet this morning, but otherwise good.
You haven't been up all night or anything, have you?
No. I kept a pretty close watch last night with all the radar and whatnot. And our issues may still come later on today as things temperatures may drop in the area that will make it a little bit dangerous. But I don't foresee a real big issue.
Probably the people who are going to have it worse than us are to the north and maybe the northwest, out western Kentucky, in that area, from what I've seen.
Yeah, all of Kentucky, southern Kentucky, western part of our state, over by Clarksville and beyond, they definitely have it a little bit worse than we do.
Well, if it's just rain, we can survive that pretty well. We're used to that.
Yeah, well, weather is unpredictable as much as some people have a profession that try to predict it. It's unpredictable. So, but they do see patterns. They do see where there may be potential, and we just to be on the safe side.
Right, and sometimes you don't know just how far down that front's going to come before it weakens and that sort of thing. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of common sense if you look at the weather map at all. I mean, sometimes they hit it right on the nose, and sometimes they're off quite a bit. And
Mother Nature has a way of saying, well, here, I'm going to do this instead. So, and this is probably one of potentially 3 or 4 cells that'll be coming through the balance of the week. So we've got some other potentials coming up. Just keep an eye on it. Keep weather alert. If you have a weather radio, that's a great way to keep weather alert. You can always tune in with us at Facebook and Instagram. We'll put information out there that's pertinent to what's going on with the weather. So just stay weather alert, and that way you know what your options are as far as driving and getting about.
What's the coldest you ever remember?
Well, don't forget I'm from Chicago.
Yeah.
71 below zero wind chill. And the amazing thing about that particular year, I was in high school, and I had a 71 Olds Cutlass. Yeah. And the rest of my family had new cars, within a year or two. Yeah, I drove everyone to work that day. Yep. Took a little ether, remember those days, spray a little ether in the carburetor and got that thing running. And I drove everyone to school.
Well, sometimes you can put a lighter weight oil in there, and it will start where others won't.
That was a common thing for us. We changed our oil weights, throughout the year, depending on what season it was. And so, it's pretty amazing how things get weather-wise. But
where were you January '85, morning after the Super Bowl? Have any idea?
Yeah, I was a really happy boy. That was a wonderful time for me. So
it's when the Bears had won the Super Bowl.
Bears had won the Super Bowl and 42-10 over New England Patriots. I remember it well, and it was just a great evening.
Was it cold where you were?
It was cold. It wasn't nothing.
No. Well, that is the coldest morning we have on record here, as far as I know. It
Really?
was 17 below zero. That's the official low.
Nice.
Now, that may be Nashville. I don't know.
Yeah.
At my thermometer, I had an indoor-outdoor thermometer at my house. It was 24 and a half below zero.
Wow.
And my car didn't start that morning. That was a Monday morning.
Yeah.
That's the coldest I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And,
Good
I
times.
hope it doesn't happen again anytime soon.
Yeah. Well, they're predicting, like I said, we've got a couple more cells that will be moving through the rest of this week and weekend into next week. We're going to see some cold temperatures in the possibly even the single digits, but it hopefully won't stay around too long.
Yep. Well, we'll talk more about the police department and what all you're doing after we take a break here. Sergeant P.J. Hardy, he's information officer for the Lebanon Police Department, among other things that a sergeant does. And this is Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And at 7:14, let's see what's happening on the roadways. Want to thank Absolute Kubota, and they've got Exmark. Large inventory of Exmark mowers for homeowners and commercial users. #1 selling brand, bought 2-to-1 over any other commercial mower brand. 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. This truck remains on its side here that crashed earlier this morning in Madison. You're able to get around it with one lane, but it's slow up through here on 65 northbound at Briley Parkway. We ought to be thankful that this wasn't southbound. There's a crash at Bell Road at I-24 that's being moved. It's starting to pick up in Mount Juliet on I-40 as you head into Hermitage on 40 westbound. You never know when you might need them. I'm talking about free at last bell buys, serving Davidson, Williamson, and Rutherford counties. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing has experienced new leadership and a new atmosphere. Same location in the heart of Lebanon, 731 Castle Heights Court on the Castle Heights campus. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing is providing 5-star clinical outcomes to short-term and long-term care residents. Call 615-444-4319 for a tour and to experience the new culture. Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing.
Hi, everybody. It's springtime football with Cumberland University. I'm Tommy Bryan, and along with Bob Lee, we'll be bringing you all the exciting play-by-play action of Cumberland Phoenix football this spring. The spring season opens Friday as Thomas More College comes to town. Kickoff at 3 o'clock. Pregame at 2:30. All the exciting action of Cumberland University football on WANT and WCOR, Lebanon.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us. Sergeant P.J. Hardy is here. We were, believe it or not, talking about doing our income tax return during the break. I have, death and taxes. I have already started mine this year. I want to, early bird gets the worm sometimes anyway. What is going on right now? Is anything exciting, or is it just pretty much business as usual for the police department?
Well, it is kind of business as usual. We're happy that the kids are back in school full time. Of course, they're off today, but that's okay. So that's good news. It's a step in the right direction. As far as the COVID front is concerned, we're definitely seeing continued downslope in the number of COVID cases. We're still not out of the woods yet, but we're doing a good job getting to where we need to go. The vaccines, after a little bit of confusion in the beginning, they seem to be running pretty good right now. They're at the 1B phase in that, so it's 70 and over. Mm-hmm. They should be moving into the next phase beginning to mid-March, capturing those 65 and over, so that's a good thing. Other than that, we're just kind of floating along, just trying to navigate like everyone else. So I got tagged with potentially another project. We're in the midst of looking at building a new courtroom and an animal control facility. So it's early in the stages right now. We're just trying to figure out if that's going to be cost effective, what some of our options are. In both situations, it's definitely a need. The courtroom, when we built the new facility, the courtroom to put it in there was going to be quite a price tag. So we originally had made plans to keep it where it is in our old facility at 406 Tennessee. The street department is moving into that building. It's going to be repurposed, and they had no problems whatsoever with it staying in there because we have court 2, sometimes 3 times a week for a few hours. It's not like it's a constant constant deal. But as things happen, things change and plans change and whatnot, and so we're looking at trying to get that courtroom moved out of that space because they do need it. They can utilize it for things that they need. Fortunately, right now, all of our courts are closed down through the end of March. We don't have any court proceedings. We kind of follow the state court system, and when they're shut down, we're shut down. So we're shut down as far as having court proceedings until the end of March.
I've got a couple of questions here.
Sure.
Let's follow up with the court thing. There's still people getting citations for
Correct.
speeding or not stopping at a stop sign or whatever. What do they mostly just come and pay them off, or?
Well, that's a good percentage of them. They'll just pay online or come to our records window and pay them. If they want to have a court date, if they want to have a hearing, they get on the list, and as soon as courts open back up, we'll get everybody that is wanting.
Well,
that.
I'm just wondering what kind
dismissed.
of backlog you have here. Is it tremendous, or?
No, right now it's not. We got about a month and a half to go, so we'll see when we get to the end of March where we're at. But we're doing everything that we can to accommodate, giving folks lots of opportunities to do different things. You've got the driving school. That's an option if you're eligible for that. That's an option. It's a great option because it actually costs less than what the normal citation and court costs and fines would be. Plus, it saves off your driving record, so that that keeps that good for you, helps out on your insurance.
Well, still having those safety schools, the driving schools?
They're online, yeah.
Oh,
so they're online.
okay,
So you can log in and do your classes online. So it's a good option. And then of course they could pay it in person. Our records clerks are available 8 to 4 every day, and they can take care of that online.
And you do notice I did say citation and not ticket.
I love you for saying that because tickets are so ugly.
The other thing I was going to ask, since you do want to move the courtroom and have it somewhere else, what are your plans at this moment? Are you looking for a location? You already have that in mind? Can you talk about that?
We've kind of kicked around over on Carver Lane in front of the water department. They're building there the old amusement facility on the frontage road there. That was an option at one point. I don't know if it still is or not. The biggest decision right now is, again, we also have an animal control facility. We're in desperate need of getting that facility going. So we don't know if it's going to be a combination of the two on the same property or if it's going to be separate. We're just looking at all our options. The City Council has approved some funding to get some architects and folks in to kind of look at the situation and see what's the best way to move forward. So we'll look forward to getting their input. Myself and Assistant PIO Philip Lacey have been going around looking at other animal control facilities. We've been at 5 so far, just to kind of see what works, what doesn't work. It's amazing. I've never been in construction. I've been a part of different situations where there's been building. I was the project manager, in-house project manager for our new police department. I guess I've been tagged for project manager for these 2 new projects. But it's amazing when you go out and actually look and talk to folks and say, yeah, this was great, but I wish we would have done this. And it could be the smallest of things, but it makes a big difference in the grand scheme of things. So we're really trying, Philip and myself, to diligently put a list together of the things that we really need.
Well, to what extent are we lacking now? And I'm totally ignorant about this. I don't know. I think I know it's where we've had it is over Tennessee Boulevard. No.
No, we've been out of that building for, gosh, probably 7 years, maybe 8 years. That was a very, very small facility.
All right.
It had less than, I think, a dozen kennels in there. We built a metal building. And, again, we try to keep do our fiscal responsibility and make sure that we're not spending a lot of money. So we built a metal building on the property where we're at now. It's back behind the police department, the new police department, 1017 Sparta Pike. And just the growth of our city and the activity that we have, we're kind of busting out at the seams. Now, in the winter months, thank goodness, our counts are lower than usual. But when it comes to be summertime, we're going to need a lot more kennels. Last year, we had to do a lot of creative things to make sure that we can safely and properly maintain and house mostly dogs. We don't take cats in, but mostly dogs. But we've had everything from pigs to ducks to you name it. We've had it all. But with that facility there, it's a very small office. There's not we transitioned several years ago, and it was our mission to make sure that we were not only an animal control facility, but an adoption facility. We do a lot with adoptions and also placements. And right now, we have a little tiny office and a little tiny exam room. We have 2.5 employees. That will probably change in the new budget year to 3 full-time employees because we just have so much work to do. But we need a space also where the public can come in and view these animals so that they can, make a selection. We just don't have that.
One other thing I'm thinking about here, you can build just to accommodate the present, but I would think if you're going to come up with a new building, you want to think at least ahead for 5 years here.
Absolutely.
So that you're going to have something, you're anticipating growth here, so you don't want to be behind in a year.
Absolutely, and that's what we've done with the new police building. The offices, as far as administrative offices are concerned, you got a pretty general idea of what you're going to be there. You may grow by a few here and there over the course of the next 10, 15, 20 years. However, the detective division and the patrol division, those spaces were designed and created for basically doubling. So all of our detective offices, I think we have 12. Yeah, I think that's right. Are all designed for double occupancy. Right now we're at full +1, so we have one office that's doubling up, and so we created that so that it could have that space. Same thing with our roll call room. If we ever get it back to the place where we actually all come together for roll call, our roll call room was designed larger so that we can accommodate up to 24 officers on a shift. Right now we're at about 15. However, we also just did a growth report, and the administration sits down and looks at all of the projects and developments that are going on currently, what we call coming out of the ground. Those projects that have already dug ground and are building. If we stay in tune and if we stay in line with the standards that we've tried to stay with, which it's 2.1, I believe, for every 1,000 residents. If we stay with that calculation, which is a federal calculation that they use,
Federal guideline, I guess.
Federal guideline,
Yeah.
yes, sir. Thank you. I was struggling there. But if we stay with that guideline, we're looking at potentially adding 30 to 32 more officers to cover just what's coming out of the ground right now. That's not stuff that's in planning, stuff that is, in conversation. Our growth is, we've seen a bunch. We're going to see a bunch more. We anticipate that we will have somewhere between 12 to 15,000 more residents in the next year. So,
wow.
Yeah, if all goes to plans. So,
well, everywhere you go, it seems like there's dirt turning, and you anticipate it's either an apartment complex or some kind of dwelling that's a multiple type dwelling, not a single family or so on.
Yeah, with the exception of cranes, our area kind of looks like Nashville has looked over the years, where it's a building site just about everywhere you turn. Fortunately, we don't build really tall buildings, so there's not cranes everywhere. But yeah, the growth isn't, and it's inevitable. back where I'm from, we used to call it the sprawl. So whenever you would get an area that would develop, all of the surrounding communities would eventually, it would all sprawl out to those communities, and the growth would come. You couldn't stop it. It just basically it's part of nature. I guess you could stop it and say, absolutely, we're not taking any projects or whatever. But then those are the cities that die off and really struggle just to maintain the basic needs of police, fire, utilities, and that sort of thing. So you kind of have to go along with it. And so this growth is coming, whether you like it, you don't like it, whatever the case may be, but it's definitely coming.
Well, then we do have to think about roads.
Yep.
In particular,
Yep.
with more traffic, you've
Yep.
probably got to pave more often. Maintenance is more in demand.
There's so much involved there with you have to have your infrastructure, your water, your electric, all of those things, your roadways for sure. So we have to be able to make sure that we strike a balance. What we call rooftops or homes, whether they're multi-dwellings or single dwelling homes. Those are great, and actually, they'll add to the tax base, but it doesn't add enough to keep up the infrastructure. So we've really got to focus on business too. We've got to focus on those, not only the retails, but those commercial businesses that can come in and pay, their share of taxes to keep everything going. So it's a fine balance that you have to reach.
One thing about it, we must be doing something right, and there must be, and we know there is. I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. I don't blame people for wanting to come here.
Yeah, it's kind of ironic. I may or may not dabble in real estate in my free time, and there are so many Facebook pages that are group pages. For example, Escaping Illinois and Freeing California.
Yeah.
And there's all these web pages of people wanting to leave these other states to come to our beautiful state of Tennessee and definitely in the Middle Tennessee area. So, yeah, it's coming. It's coming.
And it is warmer here than it is in Chicago.
That is for sure. That is for sure. We're not Florida warm.
No.
Right, MJ?
But we want to be.
But we're good. So
only in the wintertime.
That's right.
Sergeant, thanks so much for being here. See you next month.
Thank you so much.
All right, Sergeant P.J. Hardy, Information Officer for the 11 Police Department, my guest here each month. And that's part one of Coleman and Company. Keep it here for more, FM 98.9.
All right, let's see what's in it. It's not Florida warm for sure. Let's go ahead and see what's happening on the roadways. It's now 7:31, and this update brought to you by Bates Ford, and they've got the low price tire guarantee on all tires every day. Up to 30 days after the sale, there'll be any competitor's pricing on the tires they sell. 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Cleanup continues on this early morning truck crash here on 65 northbound at Briley Parkway, 1 Mile Parkway at Conair Drive. That's a crash with injuries in the Madison area. Give room for the fire department. South Nashville, 2 cars tangled up there in the 5200 block at Cane Ridge Road. It's still moving. I-40 coming out of Dixon County right now, passing 840. Again, if you have to get out and about, especially headed towards Clarksville on I-24, be very careful. Ripley's Aquarium in the Smokies will be hosting Sleep of the Sharks March 27th. All the details at Ripley's Aquarium of the Smokies.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
71 degrees all the way.
73 degrees, please.
So, what's your perfect degree of comfort? We'll help you find it with professional Rheem HVAC service that'll keep your home comfy year-round, save on energy costs, and may qualify for utility rebates and tax credits. So enjoy a new degree of comfort.
72 degrees, and I'm good to go.
Financing available through TVA's Energy Right program and your local power company. Call Randy's Heat and Air 237-3604.
It's a new year and new things at Bates Ford. Come check out our all-new 2021 Ford Bronco Sport, the new 21 F-150 on the sales side. On the service side, we've got the Works Vehicle Package, which includes an oil change and a tire rotation. Or you can visit us on the web at www.tonybatesford.com. That's Bates Ford, 1673 West Main, the dealer that will trade for anything that don't eat.
For the first half of today, freezing rain is possible. Roads will likely become treacherous, so use extreme caution if you have to travel. Temperatures today will only top out in the upper 30s. On Friday, we do dry out with highs climbing to near 40 degrees. This weather forecast is brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist TJ Scott.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us. And here on this Thursday morning, it's time for us to talk about the Pavilion Senior Living here in Lebanon with, of course, our friend Heather Sadler-Gallagher, who is on the phone. Heather, good morning.
Good morning.
And how are you?
We are well.
Well, we're glad to hear that.
A little cold, but other than that,
I know that all of us are glad when winter's over and when we have a day like this, we can kind of get the blues or be down a little bit, and you probably go out of your way to make things a little more cheery for the folks that are the people you care for there at the Pavilion.
I sure try my best. Yeah. I try to bring a little sunshine from me to them. We had a beautiful day yesterday, so we had a lot of them with their doors open and enjoying the sunshine and things like that. So let's hope that winter goes quickly and we can go back to my residents can go back to enjoying the springtime weather or the summer weather. That's where they like to be. So.
Yeah, well, every year when it gets Groundhog's Day or a little bit after, we just can't wait for spring to get here and warmer weather. And if you're kind of confined as your residents are, I know they can't wait for spring and warmer weather and maybe porch visits and that sort of thing.
That's right. So right now our building is on quarantine due to an exposure of COVID. So, we're doing... I call it DoorDash because we're delivering all their meals in the hall. So we are allowing them or doing room service for everybody, and then trying to get as creative as possible during quarantine by doing activities from their door, or, just things like that, and doing lots of virtual visits and things like that. We're trying to get through this bit of quarantine for them, and we did get our second vaccine on Monday, so we're waiting for guidance on if there's a slow reopening of assisted livings throughout the state. But that guidance has not been sent down yet.
All right. Well, I'm wondering. I know when we've talked the last few times that we've talked, I believe your memory care has been full, but you've had some other rooms available. But if you have a situation like this, does that kind of hold up on people coming in, or does it make any difference?
No, we do COVID testing on everybody that comes in, and then once you move in right now, you're already on quarantine. So it doesn't stop it. I've said it once, I've said it 50 million times. It feels like this past year that even though during a pandemic, seniors still have needs, and we're there to meet those, whether in a pandemic or a normal day. It feels like the pandemic has been a normal day for our staff. So all our staff are wearing N95 masks and full PPE when they interact with residents. We still can admit, and we still have people moving in. So
all right. Well, we probably should let everybody know. Most people who listen to us each Thursday know that you're located at 1409 Medical Center Drive. But for those who don't know where that is, we always tell them it's just north of Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. If you were going to the emergency room, you don't turn left into the emergency room road. You take the next road, which is Medical Center Drive, and you'll find the Pavilion down there on the right. You have a tremendously nice place. Was it 3.5 years old?
Yes. Well, yes, it's 3.5. I had to think.
You've been just about full from the beginning. It's you've really done well taking care of people, whether their needs are just assisted living or memory care. And of course, you can always go to their website, find out more, which is www.thepavilionseniorliving.com. Now, what else you got for us today?
I really think that's about all I have for us. You know,
Well, we do.
Our girls are getting ready for Valentine's, so we've been making Valentine's for friends. So.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you, I didn't introduce you totally this morning. I just told your name, but of course you've been the marketing director for quite some time, and you're serving now as the interim administrator as well. So it's a busy life, isn't it?
It's a busy life and it's fun. So, yes,
all right,
I'm serving in 2 roles in that community right now, and enjoying every minute of it. So.
Well, it's good to have you with us today, and come next Thursday about this time, we'll do it again, okay?
That sounds good. Y'all have a wonderful week. Stay warm.
And you too. Thank you. Heather Sadler-Gallagher talking for the Pavilion Senior Living here in Lebanon. Again, 1409 Medical Center Drive. We're 21 and a half before the hour, and I have an interesting program for us here this morning. I certainly appreciate the guests that I'm about to introduce. As you know, we've done programs from time to time about the Wilson County Community Help Center, and there's been some changes made there, and we have a new director, and she is with us this morning. But before we go and introduce her, I want to introduce Tim Leeper, who is here this morning. Tim, good morning to you, first of all.
Good morning.
You were here one time, maybe a couple of times, and we talked about the softball park over at Hobbs Field, and you had a lot to do with getting that going not too long ago. How's things with you now?
We're doing well. The softball park is up and going. We use that area for mixed use for kids practices, as well as adult softball, and so we've played over around 1,500 games since inception.
Yeah. Well, you have a business. Give you a little free plug here about that. I think you're in the building business, aren't you?
Yes, sir. I own Tim Leeper Roofing, and we do commercial and residential roofs as well as service and maintenance.
Staying busy?
It stays pretty busy, but we've had a slow part of January and February, but it's wintertime. That happens. It'll pick back up in March.
Right. Well, you have apparently given time to be, I think you're president, actually, is the correct term, the president of the Wilson County Community Help Center, which has been around for a while. But tell us, how did you get involved in this and to become president? If you're president, you're giving quite a bit of time to this, no doubt.
Yes, I became president after serving 2 years and the president-elect last year, and I was asked by one of the former directors if I would be willing to serve, and so I was certainly willing. I had the bandwidth to be able to serve, and I was glad to do it because I love the mission of what Wilson County Community Help Center does.
Well, we've done programs from time to time about this, which I think is just a wonderful thing that we have here, the Community Help Center. It's wonderful in several ways, which we'll talk about this morning. And of course, I know your last director, know that there was a vacancy there, and I was even asking last week Susie and MJ, who've been both involved with the Help Center in times past, did they know anything about a new director? No, they didn't. And lo and behold, that day I get an email from you. You've got one, and then when can we be on? So we appreciate you working this out and giving me a heads up here and coming out today to be with us as well. And we do want to meet the new director who is with us, Karen Rudzinski. Did I get that right?
Yes, you did.
Good morning and welcome.
Thank you for having me here this morning.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, if you will.
Well, I lived in Wilson County for about 24 years. I've been in nonprofit sector for about 25 years. At different levels, national, regional, and local levels. I've served as the executive director at Harris Health Center here in Wilson County for a short period of time, and at Mount Juliet Chamber of Commerce.
Mm-hmm. Where are you from originally?
Gallatin, actually, is where I'm originally from.
Well, did you graduate from high school in Gallatin?
I graduated from high school in Gallatin, went to college at Western Kentucky University.
Mm-hmm. So what attracted you here? I mean, I guess everybody wants a job maybe, but I mean, you probably with a college degree and so on, and with the experience you had, you might have your choice of several. I don't know. Why did you pick this?
I had a desire to work back in Wilson County again, to work in the same community that I live. I moved out of Wilson County actually for the past year, and I'm actually going to be moving to Lebanon the end of March.
Mm-hmm. Good. How would you describe what you're walking into here? And then, by the way, you've been on the job just a few days, I believe.
I started on Monday.
Oh, so this is your fourth day.
This is my fourth day on the job. So yes.
Are you excited? Are you disappointed? You have challenges we need to.
There's
talk
always surprises when you take a job, but I'm very excited. I'm humbled and honored to have been chosen as the executive director, and I have been amazed at what I've actually been able to experience just since Monday. I was just telling Tim earlier, I felt like I had been on the job longer than just 4 days now. It's an exciting time. It's definitely going to be challenging, especially with COVID. I was just telling him that we ran some numbers just to pull some numbers on the people that we've actually been able to help over the past year, and our volunteers were really down. So we had about 115 in 2020 as opposed to 297 in 2019.
So volunteers, building up your volunteer base is probably one of the things.
Definitely.
We need to go to a break here in about a minute. Take a minute or two, and you or Tim, either one, tell us. I think I could even do a little bit of this, but what the mission, what the Wilson County Community Help Center is all about.
Do you want to take it?
He's looking at you.
The Help Center is there to provide clothing and food as well as household necessities. We also provide financial assistance, like with utilities, prescriptions. We are there to help with any need that they may have. Elderly, we provide insure for them. So we have lots of programs actually that we provide.
Well, one of the things that I appreciate is there's a lot of times I have something that I don't really need anymore, but I think it's too good to throw away or take to the dump or whatever you might do with it. And I'm just very thankful we have an opportunity for a place like you to take that to somebody else to get some good out
Absolutely.
of it. And I know that you do have a lot of people who donate, because every time I go in there, I see where somebody else has been. And that's
Absolutely. Absolutely. Those donations help us to fund the assistance programs that we have.
Yeah. Okay, let's take a break. I'll reintroduce my guest when we come back. This is Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And it's now 7:46. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Want to thank Bates Ford, and they've got the lifetime brake pad guarantee. With the purchase of a brake service, replacement brake pads will be provided at no cost for as long as the customer owns a vehicle. Bates Ford, 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Cleanup continues on this early morning crash out here on I-65 northbound. It's there in Madison at Briley Parkway again. It's going to be out there for a while. Harding Place at Trousdale on a crash. 1 Mile Parkway at Conair Drive in Madison, still working that accident. Check out the Andre Chicken Sandwich, now available at Princess Hot Chicken, 5814 Nolensville Pike. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
It's all about taking care of you, and THW Insurance will do just that. Are you looking for home or auto insurance? THW represents Westfield Insurance and other fine companies. Together, we will protect you and your family. Call Jeff Lee at 615-547-5646 or stop in and see him at the Wilson Bank and Trust main office.
I'm Randy Salas, inviting you to listen to me and Jake Hood as we broadcast the 2021 Cumberland University baseball season. You won't want to miss any of the action in Coach Woody Hunt's final season at the helm of the Phoenix. All home games will be broadcast this year, weekday games on WCOR 1490 AM and weekend and night games on both WCOR and WANT FM 98.9. All games can be seen and heard on GoCumberlandAthletics.com at no charge, and you can also get your scheduling information there. Congratulations, Coach Woody Hunt, and go Phoenix.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us. And with me this morning, I have Tim Leeper, who is president of Wilson County Community Help Center. the new director, Karen Rudzinski, who just took over Monday and is up to the challenge so far, right?
Yes, definitely.
Are there particular changes that you're going to make directly, or are you just getting acclimated at the moment?
I'm just getting acclimated at the moment. I don't see any real big changes yet that I'll be making. I'm sure that we'll look at everything and make sure that we're running efficiently and everything's running smoothly there at the center. So far, I've been impressed with the staff. They've been very welcoming, and I've been able to watch them, every day, and they work very, very hard.
Yeah. Well, Tim, let me ask you this as chairman of the Help Center, or I keep saying that as president, but anyway, there's a board of directors, I believe, and you've been on the board, and the director, of course, answers to the board. You hire the director and this sort of thing. How closely is the relationship, the working thing? If they're doing their job and you're overseeing, you give them pretty much free rein, or do you have pretty tight reins here? I'm just wondering.
That's a good question, and we've really had to evaluate that for a while because, when the director stepped away, we were left to figure out how to run the center without an executive director through the board, and that's not how it's designed to go. And so what we said is, let's find the director, let's let him or her with their passion, and the mission that we already have, set their own vision, and we'll let them chart their course, and we will be there to support them. If there's things that we need to correct or to work on, we can do those. But at the end of the day, we really want Karen to take off with her own vision and underneath the mission of what we already have going. Just let her chart her own course, and we're just going to be her support system.
Yeah. Well, from my understanding and viewpoint, I think the center has really come a long way in recent years. I know that you have broader hours. There's more hours that it's open during the day. There's as far as I'm concerned, it's usually contributing something I'm through with. The time used to be more limited to do that than it is now. And of course, that may need to be changed. You may need to broaden it or narrow it. I don't know. But after really 3 days, this is your fourth day. You've only been there 3 days. I'm sure, Karen, you haven't had time to make a whole lot of decisions, but you are, as we say, getting your feet wet, getting acclimated, and then you will decide changes that need to be made if they're new hires or whatever needs to be done. Am I right?
Absolutely. I was just telling Tim this morning, we actually had 2 positions that were available when I started on Monday, and now we're fully staffed. So we're excited about that. Now, that may change tomorrow, but right now we're very excited about that because when you're short staffed, it's already, it's a challenge to try to process everything that comes in each day.
Well, you have volunteers, I believe, too, right?
We do have volunteers.
You mentioned that, but that they had been down because of COVID. Now, what will you be on a mission to recruit more volunteers?
Yes, even the meetings that I've set up this week of the top priorities that we've set is to be able to build that number back up this year with volunteers. We've had phone calls even this week for people looking for the opportunity to volunteer, which is promising because it's February now, so we really do want to be able to pull in as many volunteers as we can to help us. The staff can only do so much each day.
Well, as far as hours go, when people can now people come and shop. They can buy things.
Absolutely,
there,
at the thrift store.
But they also come, we might say, for lack of a better expression, with their hands out too. As you mentioned, people need help with maybe with prescriptions, with paying utility bills, with food, with clothing, maybe even household items.
Right, absolutely.
You really have a lot that's available there. And I don't know, I guess it's up to you and the people you work with there as to how much somebody needs, how much you can give them, but all of I guess the things that are for sale, some people need some of those that maybe you, if they're in need enough, you give them. Is
absolutely,
that right?
We do. They receive once they actually meet with our assistance program person, we have a help desk. And once they meet with them, they'll receive vouchers for clothing and household items and whatnot that they may need.
Okay. But as far as even if somebody doesn't want to volunteer, but they have some things they can donate.
Absolutely.
Now, I guess sometimes I wonder when I've dropped some things off where you put everything, because but that's a good problem to have.
It is. We actually have some trailers that are in the back area, and we keep those full most of the time. We were actually able to unload one this week, which was very helpful because we have more items coming in. Right now we have more clothes coming in than we actually do furniture or household items.
Do you ever get too much, really?
We're having a challenge right now with clothing, and I'm assuming it's because everybody's been at home and they've been cleaning out their closets.
I would say that's a good observation.
Absolutely. So we're having a difficult time processing that and getting that out actually on the floor. So it's taking some time to do that. That's where we really need the volunteers right now.
Well, this may sound like a silly question, but can anybody that maybe wants to purchase something, I mean, really looking for a bargain, something you would probably pay less for at the help center than you would in an ordinary store or whatever, are they welcome to come?
Yes, absolutely. We're open from 9 to 5, Monday through Saturday.
And so anything that's in there for sale is for anybody that wants to come.
For anybody that
wants
to come in and purchase, yes.
But if somebody does purchase that from you, I mean, they pay for whatever the price you've got on it. So that's a little money in your pocket.
Absolutely, yeah.
So they are, if they can't make a monetary donation or don't have something you want to give to you, if they come and spend some money with you, they're still helping you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's good to point out, good to know as well. Well, after 3 days, what's your biggest challenge at the moment?
Oh, wow.
Just getting started?
Put me on the spot.
Well, don't.
I would say the biggest challenge right now, or at least what I'm tackling at this point, is I've been able to really look through our donors that we have that are giving to us regularly, particularly churches, and I'm trying to reach out to them, introduce myself, talk to them about other ways that we may be able to partner.
Yeah.
Because they have needs as well as we have needs. And so any way that we can partner and collaborate, we want to do that.
Well, I think part of the history of this, as best I remember, that we used to have, and this is kind of a sad commentary in a way, but we would have people going maybe from one church to another with their hand out. And you didn't want to turn anybody away that really needed help. But at the same time, you didn't want some people getting it all and others being left out. So the churches kind of got together and came up with this idea,
Absolutely.
I believe. And it has kind of developed from that, so that I think there's a partnership or a cooperative effort there, so that that people don't they don't overload the system. They don't. They're not able just to by coming there. You have a record of who you have helped.
Absolutely.
And so then if they go to some church, they know that they've been there, and that's kind of what it's all about too.
We do have that relationship, and I've discovered that in talking to the churches that I've been able to meet with this week.
And what a lot of them, I think, have done maybe is just contributed monetarily, and then if somebody comes to them for help, they can point them to
They
you.
do. They refer to us, and they like to be able to refer to us because we're able to screen them where they're not necessarily able to do that.
And I know you want to help everybody that's in need, but at the same time, we sometimes have to be wise as serpents and harmless as doves, as the Bible says, because there are some who try to beat the system, and you want to be there for everybody and help as many as you can, no doubt.
If they need help, they can actually come in now. We're not even requiring them to do an application because we've gone to an online system to enter everything. So when they come in, they just need a photo ID. They need Social Security cards for everyone that's in their household, so that we can prove, if you say you have 5 kids or whatever it may be, that's in the case, and Wilson County residency, proof of residency.
Okay. We've got about 2.5 minutes. Anything else? You brought several notes with you here. I'm wondering if there's anything else you in particular wanted to tell everybody that I haven't asked about.
Actually, if you don't mind, I wouldn't mind just sharing who we've been able to help and the numbers from this past year. Yeah. For example, with utilities, we were able to assist with about $32,000 this past year. That went to 350 families. Mm-hmm. Another example is clothing, and that was 2,191 families, and that's almost 75,000 clothing items.
Wow, that's a lot of clothing.
It's very impressive. Yes, it's quite the impact in Wilson County.
All right, you're not looking for employees, but you are looking for volunteers. Are you or not?
No, we're not at this point.
Okay. You fill 2 vacancies, but you are looking for volunteers.
Absolutely.
All right. What's a good way for them to contact you? Maybe
they can give us a call at the office. It's 615-449-1856. They can just stop by if they want. You really only have to be 14 in order to volunteer. We just ask that you have a parent that signs off on that and someone's with them during that time. But other than that, 16 years of age to volunteer.
And if you're volunteering, what can you expect to be volunteering for?
Well, it could be just putting clothes on hangers and getting it out, or taking those clothes that are hung and placing them out on the floor. It could be pushing a cart and putting those other items, household items, out on display as well.
Yeah. Okay, but it would be nice, and especially if somebody is in a particular organization where you're supposed to do so much volunteer work.
Absolutely, it's perfect.
Welcome them, no doubt. Mm-hmm. Tim, I'm not going to let you have the last word, but the next to the last word. Thanks for being with us today, and we appreciate what you're doing and your acceptance of presidency of the Help Center. Good to have you.
Thank you.
All right. I want to get a word out. And Karen, we wish you the best. Hope things will go well. And would like to have you out here from time to time.
Thank you. I would love that.
All right. That is Karen Rudzinski, the new director for the Wilson County Community Help Center, along with Tim Leeper, president. And that is going to do it for Thursday. I hope you will join us tomorrow for Coleman and Company. And until then, I wish you a tremendous day.